Yeah, I just wanted to show you what I was up to. I made some major changes on this thing. So let me show you what I did. Okay, the main thing I was doing was I had to, the pulley system that goes here, this was the original right here. It came from the motor, which is over here. Then I had the belt going over here to this jack shaft. Then it fed around a couple of pulleys here. The belt was here. And how this worked is this rotated. I got this piece here. This is that piece that's in the frame. The belt rides in here. The belt's stationary. And it goes around these pulleys. And it feeds around here and goes back up here. It's kind of like how the setup is on the 3D printer. The belt is stationary and the motor moves back and forth. So when this rotates, the belt is around here, and then this rotates around the belt. Now, last time I had the unit and it was working, but it wasn't really working as good as I wanted to. Of course, you know, it was the initial trial of it, so I didn't expect perfection. But what was happening was that, to see this tilt here, and on the last one I couldn't get it, I couldn't get this true straight up and down. It was tilting this way to the back with no problem, because the pulley system, the belt was over here, so there was plenty of room for this pulley to grab that belt and pull it around. Now when you get to the front, the pulley was over here, and I couldn't get any more rotation out of it. I couldn't get it vertical, this being the top, this being the front. I couldn't get this any more rotation out of it because the belt was not contacting the pulley, because it stops here, because there was no, it couldn't get beyond this point. So I was losing about 30-degree angle on it. I couldn't get it to the true position on top, this being the top again. So, but originally this point was 2¼ inches further this way, which meant that it was up further this way, so that the belt could achieve this position on the original one that was over here. And I don't think I have the original one here, but yeah, you remember it was a little bit longer. It was way up here somewhere. And since I cut that back, because I couldn't get the diameter over here, when this was in a position like this, I couldn't swing but 2 inches at the most. And I need to be able to swing more than 2 inches. 2 inches is nothing. So I had to figure out a way to get this to rotate further using this piece. So what I ended up doing was I moved this from here to over here. Now originally I couldn't do that because the motor was here. The motor filled up this entire area here. So I had to move this here. So now the pulley system is here. Something like that. And that's going to allow it to rotate like that. With this being here, the belt will still engage here. Hopefully. I haven't tried it yet. I'm still working on it. And I can still go like this because there's plenty of room here. That much room for the belt. So with this this pulley now over here, there's an issue with the motor. I can't sit the motor down. I had to raise the motor up. So I took all this material out of here so I could raise the motor up. And I made this this plate. Now say I had to modify this one also. This is the other half. So I modified the whole inside of it. So that's what it looks like now. But originally I made this plate. Well, I had to make a plate because I took all this material away. There's nothing for the motor attached to. So I had to make this plate, and I was going to epoxy it onto these pieces. And now it raised the motor up. You can see the motor is even with the top, which is fine. So I thought, well, if I gotta raise that motor up and I gotta move it, what I should do is I should move it from here a little bit further, because as it was, I had this gear mounted on top of the motor, and it uses the same system with these. The belt comes along here, rides around that roller, goes around here, and then goes back onto that ring. So I thought, well, if I gotta raise the motor up, maybe I can scoot the motor forward and put a reduction gear in here so I can get a little more torque out of it. I mean, it seemed to be working fine before, but the the plate that mounts on top of here and the vise and everything else, it got quite heavy. So I was just trying to make it better. So while that was up there, I decided to go ahead and move the motor forward, and I could put another gear back here. This is a 2-to-1. Well, actually, this doesn't go there. What goes there is this guy. One of these. It's actually this one that mounts on the motor. And I turned it down. It was just like this. And I turned this down, put a couple set screws in it. And the motor fits in here, and then this fits there. And I thought, well, I could have a reduction here. And instead of feeding the belt off of this gear, I could feed it off of this gear. And I thought, well, that'll work. And then I decided, well, if I can go with a 2-to-1, maybe I can go with a 3-to-1. So I got a 3-to-1, and there's quite a bit of room in there because all I need is this much. Actually, a little bit less than that. And I thought, well, that'll work if I move that motor forward. So it was this plate, I can move the motor forward, but then I got to have something to support this piece in the back. And I can't move that forward because there's nothing there to move forward. It's going to hit all that and cut that away and this and that. And I thought, well, maybe I can 3D print something. And I thought, well, oh, Jesus.